Good evening and welcome to the Voices of Change on Intellectual Radio. We're going to continue our discussion from last week. We had all these news stories and it's like most of them have evolved, but we got a few new ones. We're going to talk about the Coast Guard officer. Everyone knows about him. The Patriots owner, I guess in his choice of
The Patriots.
women.
Patriarchs. I'm like, who's
Oh,
that?
I'm sorry, Patriots. Oh, I'm patriarch. The Patriots owner, update on Jussie Smollett. We're going to talk about R. Kelly and if he's still in jail because he couldn't come up with $100,000, and how a school in South Carolina celebrates Black and a teacher who ripped a few braids out. Those are some of the stories that we're going to be talking about in Roundtable. We're supposed to have another person here, but I think he's in traffic because he had to do a service. It's Elliot, of
There
course.
you go.
So he'll be joining us soon. My name is Jan, and I'll be one of your hosts.
And I'm Shamel. I'll be one of your other hosts for tonight.
We haven't seen Miss Shimmy in a minute, so
Oh
it's
my
always.
goodness.
Oh,
It
that's
was my
right.
birthday,
She doesn't
and then-
like the name Miss Shimmy. You had a birthday when? Last
I-
week, 2 weeks ago?
First week of February, so February 3rd, Super Bowl Sunday. I don't think we were
Oh yeah,
on
Super Bowl
anyway.
Sunday. No,
So
we weren't on.
even
We weren't on.
So,
And there was another birthday. The executive director here.
all right.
I was so blessed to have her host a show with me last week. And Miss Wanda, she had her birthday celebration on Valentine's Day, the day of love.
Oh,
And I come in here today, and it's all champagned up with strawberries and,
I'm trying to give me some cake.
I know she had a birthday party again, so it's never ending. It's never ending.
All right.
A big shout out to our partners, GV Entertainment, Oda Enterprises, and of course, it's that time of the year, Great Tax Service. I start my show off with scripture for today. It's from Matthew 7, chapter 7, verses 1 through 6, and it goes, I've got to get a little bit used to this laptop. And the scripture goes, do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. And this show is going to be all about judging. Well, I guess all the shows are about judging when we give our opinions on it.
Yes.
But when we talk about certain things, we do end up judging. So I want everybody to be conscious of that. Sometimes we have to kind of sit back and just wait on the truth. Everyone wants to jump and be first all the time. But sometimes it's good to just sit back and wait on the truth. On that note, we're going to come back with news you can use, and that's where we're going to have a Real Talk Roundtable. We'll be right back. Voices of Change, only on Intellectual Radio. For those of you just tuning in, you're listening to the Voices of Change, and this is our Real Talk Roundtable. We're still waiting on one more person, but we're going to go ahead with the first story, and the first story is about the Coast Guard. I know you heard about it, right? The Coast Guard that no one's talking about because it's kind of being overpowered by some of the other stories.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
Coast Guard lieutenant arrested last Friday on gun and drug charges allegedly wanted to conduct a mass killing. Christopher Paul Hansen, 49, of Silver Springs, Maryland, is alleged to be a white supremacist who had a hit list that included prominent Democratic politicians as well as several journalists from CNN and MSNBC. Hassan's case was first circulated by counterterrorism expert and the George Washington Program on Extremism. His hit list included Democratic politicians, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York, Senators Chuck Schumer of New York, Cory Booker of New Jersey, Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, and Kamala Harris of California, as well as former Representative Beto O'Rourke of Texas, as well as CNN journalists Don Lemon, Chris Comio, and Van Jones, and MSNBC's Chris Hayes, Ari Melber, and Joe Scarborough. Court documents say Hassan espoused extremist and white supremacist views and alleged that he relied on a manifesto of Anders Breivik, a Norwegian who was convicted in 2011 of 2 terror attacks that killed 77 people. The government said he stockpiled steroids and human growth hormones to increase his ability to conduct attacks. The defendant is a domestic terrorist bent on committing acts dangerous to human life that are intended to affect governmental conduct. Department of Justice, because this is an open investigation, the Coast Guard has no further details at this time, so they just have no comments. Musing in a draft email acquired by prosecutors, Hassan allegedly wrote, "I am dreaming of a way to kill almost every last person on earth." In another draft email, apparently written to a known American neo-Nazi leader, he wrote, "We need a white homeland as Europe seems lost." When law enforcement agents searched his house, they found 15 guns and more than 1,000 rounds of ammunition, according to the documents. He is assigned to Coast Guard headquarters in Washington. He's a former Marine. He appeared Thursday in U.S. District Court for the District of Maryland for a hearing. In a statement, Blumenthal spokesman Maria McElwain said he was thankful for the FBI's intervention. Trump, who's very vocal and says a lot and tweets on everything, he said about this whole ordeal, the entire ordeal about this domestic terrorist. He said, "I think it's a shame."
I'm glad they figured this out.
This is scary.
It's like to think
This is
about
really
like all these
scary.
names that you named that he was looking for on his list. To think, I would be terrified to think that I'm on someone's hit list and not know it.
Yeah, but these people, these are prominent politicians. They're prominent news folks, CNN, MSNBC. I mean, and they're on a hit list. And who knows if there's not another list? And what if he would have had the opportunity to carry this out?
Exactly. And all he had to say was, "It's a shame." You would have
But what
said
I don't
more
understand,
if it was.
why wasn't this publicized more? And I know everything was been overshadowed by recent stories in the media because everybody loves reality stars, everybody
Of
loves
course.
R&B singers, everybody loves stars, period. So they're going to chase stories that people really want to hear.
about.
Yeah. And I don't know if anybody really wants to hear about a domestic terrorist who's a Coast Guard lieutenant, who is a former Marine, who's in D.C.
Like you have
He's in
special
Chocolate
skills.
City. Yeah. I mean,
You have skills to take this. I like to take action and actually get this done.
And then they go to his house and they probably think, well, he probably doesn't have anything at his house. You wouldn't think that, right? I mean, I don't know. But he does. 15 guns. One person can't even shoot 15 guns.
Not at a time.
And 1,000 rounds of ammunition.
No, he was ready for him.
Yeah, he wasn't even an old guy.
49.
49 years old.
Well.
Okay, so this guy was found out. Is anybody else? Is there any other white supremacist?
Come on.
In the military, high-ranking military officials? This is scary.
That's scary. They have this new feel that they can come out and say and do as they
I
please.
wonder where they get that from.
Oh, hello, hello, hello.
The next story that we're going to talk about is about the Patriots owner, and everybody know them because they've won all these rings. So I mean, this is a big deal, and this guy has a lot of money. He's not a manager; he is the owner. Robert Kraft is charged with 2 counts of soliciting prostitutes in Florida after paying for sexual services at a day spa tied to a human trafficking ring, and cops have a video of him engaging in illicit acts. I think I did mention his age in a little brief, but I think he was 77 years old.
He's an old white
He's
man.
what did you say?
He's.
Wait,
I'm
what
just
did you
speaking facts.
wait? What did you?
He's just an old white man who he owns the Patriots.
Yeah, but
I
that's a
wouldn't put
big
it
deal.
past him. You know, and it's more cases out here that need to be solved, like the missing mail lady, but we find out Jussie did it. Okay, like the police took all this time, and oh, that just annoyed me. So whatever about Robert Kraft at this point. What about the real stories? Like this man who is about to take out a bunch
Everybody,
of people,
everybody he could.
but we worried about Robert Kraft.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, this is newsworthy. He should be probably a very rich man. I don't understand why he just didn't get an escort. I mean,
Exactly.
it seems like if you have that much money and if you want company, discretion cost. You'd pay for it.
Well, he
You'd have
wasn't
an
worried about it.
escort,
He
and you'd go to
wasn't.
Europe, and you do what you do with a consenting adult,
He
or go
wasn't.
wherever you want to go. I mean, I guess I'm just saying.
Obviously, he thought, well, I'm Robert Kraft. Nobody's going to say anything about me. And did what he needed to do.
I think now this to me is a real waste of money because men of means, they don't even have to be a men of means. Men sometimes purchase. I mean, this is something that I feel it's a moral issue, but I don't know if any money or anything should really be spent on it. I mean, okay, the fact of the matter is prostitution is illegal in most states. And because it's tied to human trafficking, that's a problem. That's what's problem. That's a problem.
That's a problem.
But the other things, as far as him going out buying some, he's a man of means. He's 77 years old. I don't know if he has a wife. I don't know what his situation is, his marital situation, but him buying favors is nothing unusual. I mean, where do we cross the line? Do you cross the line if someone meets someone, an older man meets a beautiful woman, and he's attracted to her and he wants to take her on a date and he buys her a few things and he has favors with her? Where do you cross the line between doing adult things and prostitution? I'm just
I
asking the
mean,
question. I'm just
it would be like, is he trying to date this woman or is
no.
it a.
He's
Okay,
attracted to
then.
her, so he wants to get it on. But he knows that. No, I'm just. But he does. But he just. She likes nice things,
Well, if
So
they
he
consent,
accommodates
be
it.
like,
He
well, we're
buys.
going to go ahead sign this paper. You going to consent to me being your sugar daddy. And that's about it. Hey,
Why does it have to be a paper signed if she's an adult? She can do
because
whatever
she can
she
go
wants
back later
and
and
say
go
what
and say, well, he did so and so to me.
he did. What consent? He took her on a date. I don't know. This.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Whatever.
this is interesting. I just think this is other than the human trafficking aspect of it. If it does have that twist and turn, then when you talk, are we talking about babies? Was he with an adult? They have pictures of him doing stuff, illicit acts. I mean, think about it. Who was he with? Some of those older men, or some men, as we know, appreciate very, very young women. Human trafficking. It could have been. I don't know.
Well, did he know? Is the question.
Did he care? Hmm.
Well,
He probably had a preference. He probably. We do before our next story. Well, it's better late than never. We have another host coming in for our Real Talk Roundtable, Mr. Elliott. Come in, Mr. Elliott. Let's embarrass him real good. Hey! Ooh.
Wakanda.
I can afford to be late. I'm a king.
Wakanda forever.
Wait, what? Wakanda forever.
Now Oscars come on tonight. He's ready.
I'm saying.
He trying to get them to win. Come on now.
You gotta support
And
the
we were talking about that on the way here. I was talking about that because I was like, okay, how many bets? How many believe Wakanda's going to win tonight? They're up for a couple.
They have to. Like,
Why?
They gonna get some.
Why?
they have to. You know how big that movie was?
It was
Yes.
huge.
How
Do you know how many times I
money-
saw it?
right, and how much money that movie made.
Yes.
Jeez, yeah. Like, there's no way. Come on. Like, they got to. That's all I know. They got to.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm really
I
hoping.
believe in it.
I'm really hoping so.
Oh,
So
okay.
last week, this next story took a long time last week, and maybe this week it may not take as long, or maybe there's some information that folks know that Mr. Elliott may know, or Miss Shimmy. I'm sorry, Miss Shimmel may
It's
know
all right. It's all right.
that she may know. But we want to do an update on Jesse Smollett. If you remember last week, everything was kind of up in the air. It kind of just came out, even though there were suspicions from day one about it. And voices of change, I came from a different fresh perspective, from a theory, because it did make sense to me, even though everyone's pointed out lies don't make sense. People tell lies for different reasons. But I kept saying, well, what's the end game? And I just had the feeling that he was being set up. And after the events happened this week, after everybody saw it on the news, everybody saw our superintendent of police, maybe he jumped the gun. We're going to read about the updates on Jesse, and if anyone else has anything to add, please do. Jesse Smollett's text check supports training fee, not attack fee. Jesse Smollett had hard evidence to support his claim the Chicago police superintendent got it wrong when he told the media the actor paid $3,500 to Abel and Ola Usudaro to stage an attack. TMZ has obtained documents that on the surface back his claim the $3,500 check he wrote to Abel was for training. The check was written to Abel on January 23rd, 6 days before the attack. The memo line reads, 5-week nutrition workout program, don't go. Sources connected to Jesse tells us the reference to Don't Go is a song for which Jesse was going to shoot a music video featuring himself shirtless. The sources say Jesse had gained weight. He was 192 pounds and needed to lose 20 pounds for the shoot. And that's why he hired Abel, who he calls Bon. There are various texts starting from January 20th between Jesse and Bon on January 28th, the day before the attack. Bon wrote, I know you're traveling today. Make sure you get at least 45 minutes of cardio. Another text on January 20th outlines a menu for the day, including chicken, thighs, star-kissed tuna, eggs, Smucker's peanut butter, etc., and so on. And a text on January 25th reads, this is a meal plan, and the breakdown of macronutrients also includes projected fat loss. You also see a text showing a calendar where February 23rd is marked Don't Go. That's a video. The sources say that's the date the music video was supposed to be shot. There's another screenshot from September 27th, 2018, presumably showing Jesse has paid Ola in the past. It's a Venmo payment of $100 to Bola. What is that? For training. Oh, aka Abel, for training. Sources connected to Jesse says the $3,500 breakdown is as follows: $600 a week for the workout plan for 5 weeks, $100 a week for the nutrition plan for 5 weeks. Now, keep in mind, even with all this laid out, this is not proof. It's not proof at all that the attack wasn't staged. But in a trial, all the defense has to do is create a reasonable doubt. And we're told the police superintendent pronouncement, he literally, I'm sure both of you saw it, his pronouncement can become a defense weapon. Because sometimes, again, like I said from the beginning, sometimes we jump and everybody wants to be first saying whatever. We jump and jump and jump without all the facts. The police superintendent also said the news conference, Jesse himself sent the racist letter 8 days before the attack. And he did say that. Federal law enforcement sources tell us they have not concluded who wrote the letter, at least not yet. So this story is continuing. This story is evolving. Doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't stage it. Doesn't mean he did stage it. What it means is that there's reasonable doubt. Now, I do think I've read other things about him having some kind of a drug problem. Anybody else read something like that?
No, I didn't.
I did. I don't know how true that is. That wouldn't be so surprising if he did. But I still, in spite of what everyone's told me, and I know they're right because people have lied on. Does anybody remember? Somebody brought up Ryan Locke. Anybody remember him? He was
Brian
an
Locke.
Olympic swimmer, and
Mhm.
apparently he was in Brazil, and he concocted this huge story about he was robbed by Brazilians in 2016.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember that.
and there was no reason for it. I mean, he's at the top of his game. He's an Olympic winner. He received no criminal charges in Brazil and is still a celebrated Olympian in America. In fact, the Olympics said, quote, boys will be boys. Don't get me wrong. I am not trying to by any means applaud what they say Jesse did, but I say that cautiously because they still haven't proven to me that beyond a shadow of a doubt, that he staged his own attack. I know. I know you have. I know you have.
I think I've been like from the beginning. I was like, oh, okay, that happened to him. I didn't really feel a way about it, but then I'm a communications person. I'm a face reader. I like to see how you react. I like to see. And when he was talking with Robin Roberts, I feel like it should have been more emotional. Like if you really felt this way about someone doing this to you and everything, I think it should have been an emotional thing. And I didn't see that emotion in him.
Okay.
If I'm getting attacked and I'm still hurt after a few weeks, it's like you would feel some way to not break down and cry, but I just didn't see that. It was just a normal, let me answer these questions interview for Robin Roberts.
Well, I thought from the very beginning. I said, wait, something's wrong with that because I think it was 2 o'clock in the morning. It was the early hours of the morning.
Freezing.
He leaving. It was a cold night. So I understand why people think it's been staged because either it was staged or it was set up because someone had to know the time he was going to be walking through there, coming from Subway, going to Subway, whatever, to
Yeah.
jump on him. People just don't be walking around in Streeterville at
Not at
2 in the morning.
morning.
And all they did was they didn't even beat him up. They just roughed him up a little bit. I don't think they stole anything. They didn't. They didn't get anything from him. And that was suspicious in
That was like
itself. And I think he was still on the phone the whole time, and they didn't take his
Yeah.
phone either.
He said he was on the phone with his manager or something.
Then it comes out, which is irony, after he said, after from what, or maybe that was my perception, it was two white guys, and they were
And they were too
two guys
From
with
Africa.
Nigerian names. Yeah, and I'm like, come on now, you if someone was gonna set that up, like I said last week, why would it be someone associated with him? A trainer and someone who's been on the set. Why would they be black if he's saying that it was a hate crime,
That's
a
true.
racial hate crime? Why would they be black? The whole thing. I don't know. I know Elliot has an opinion because he always does.
oh, oh, it's
It's
crazy.
evolving. It is crazy. It's evolving.
But it's nuts because I have friends from out of town that were texting me in other states. They're like, "What do y'all have subways that are open at like 2 in the morning?" I said, "We have a few that are 24 hours
Hours.
open,
hmm
so that's not uncommon." I said, "It's not even uncommon for him to be out late." I said because um, there's some friends of mine who are in a choir, and maybe 2 or 3 years ago, they were walking along the west side. It was Jesse Smollett and a few other people from Empire, and they walked in to their choir rehearsal. It was like 9 o'clock at night.
I heard that they do a lot of walking around.
Yeah,
I did hear that. Yeah.
so it's not uncommon for him to be walking around. But then it's 2 in the morning.
Mhm.
Why are you out?
He had
Well,
just
no. He just got back, right? And he was hungry.
He was just got back because I remember going on his Instagram the next morning to see, and he was on a flight. He had just got back to Chicago.
And I know of all people sitting here, I think I got off yesterday at what, 11, 12 o'clock. And where was my friend at?
What's your point?
So I know you're
What's
not.
the point?
So I know
was in
you're.
my car. I wasn't walking the way I was supposed to have been at 11 o'clock last night.
Well,
Getting some shrimp.
no,
Getting
but
some shrimp.
no, but the point is,
Ain't no shame in my game. I was out last night getting some shrimp.
no, but the point is,
Brother was hungry.
it was late and you were hungry. He's in Streeterville. You can walk around there freely.
So you think?
Well,
Well,
So
No
you
place is safe these
not
days.
totally safe, but he figured he could run and get a sandwich. He was hungry, so no biggie. People get hungry at night.
They do, yeah, but 2 in the morning, you okay? So you just got
Well,
Just
back.
go to sleep.
I
2 in the morning.
Well, you could have got it on your way to
because you
where
were
you was
walking out the
going.
airport, you were probably in some kind of Uber or had some kind of driver. You could have stopped somewhere
You know
before
what?
you
A
got to
lot
where
of
you was
times when you're
going.
traveling, when you're finally you just want to get home. You want to get home, put the bags down. Then it's like, I'm hungry.
Yeah, but
So he said, let me
see,
walk around the corner to the subway. Now, what was suspicious? How would they know? How would they know he was going to do it at that specific time without getting a heads up or without someone telling them? And why would they walk around with? They said it was bleach or some kind
Bleach.
of chemical and a noose. That's what's
do we have
suspicious.
proof of that?
That it was a noose.
That it was a nuisance that they had some type of
Well, all they
chemical.
have proof was that he still had the noose around his neck, and there was some.
He
I don't know what the
does.
chemical was. I heard it was bleach. I don't know what it was.
I don't know. People
So
just
much
been
stuff.
making a
I
bunch of
know.
memes about it, and
Yeah.
I've
Well,
been like
because you know what?
cracking up.
Lion King.
What? Oh, that was funny.
Oh,
Oh.
I've been cracking up
So
this
let me
whole
spin
time.
this though real quick. So of course everybody in social media, especially our black brothers and sisters, it's African American History Month, they're like, y'all are so wrong for making all these memes. Jesse
Who said we were wrong?
these are people on social media. People come
Oh,
out and
okay.
say,
Okay.
y'all are wrong for making these memes and laughing at him because he does what we do every day. He told a lie. Okay. And if he has a problem,
Well, we don't know. Okay, go on.
I mean,
Go ahead.
assuming
Assuming.
that it's a
Okay.
Assuming.
lie and he
Okay.
made this up, that's
Okay.
what they're coming from. Oh, he just lied. Look, we do it every day, and we got a man in office that lies every time he open his mouth.
Well, that's true.
So y'all ain't doing nothing to him, so y'all need to leave him alone. We gonna pray for him. This and the third. I get that. That's great. That's wonderful. And I'm like, hey, that's fine. Whatever. But I'm like, we this really isn't a big deal. Let me just say that. This is my personal opinion. We're making this bigger than what it needs to be. He committed crimes, a federal crime dealing with the mail that's been done before. Okay. There are
If
bigger fish to fry.
if
If he did it, okay, they still don't have proof, but there are bigger fish to fry. And
I agree.
what's baffling me is how quickly, and that's because it was so small, but still, how quickly we saw the superintendent of police and all these people coming up and trying to solve the mysteries, and yet we still have people. And I
He
got
jumped the gun, and we still have people that they're not putting those resources in, and I know where you're going with that.
showing us the kind of society that we live in now.
We do.
That uh and this is to take nothing away from what allegedly happened to Justice Smollett, but we make this into something great and wonderful and really big. Oh, let's jump on this bandwagon. And there are things that are so much bigger that we should be paying attention to.
You're right, but you know what? I think it ties into the narrative of hate crimes. And when it first came out, it was like,
That's what I thought it
oh, they
was.
called him the N word and they called him the F word. So I think it sold
Yeah.
into that hate crime thing, which
And I
made
get
people
that.
really,
At the end of the day,
yeah,
though,
yeah.
how many times
How many times what?
how many times have we been called the N word and the A word and whatever other word we want to be
Never
called?
in my life.
That's a lie, as you know it. by our own and by those from other races.
But by our own, that's affectionately. Other races is a totally different
I,
interpretation, which
it
we're not
is,
gonna
and
go.
I get
Right,
that. What I'm
right,
saying
okay.
is, you know, because it happened to a celebrity, allegedly, it's a big deal. But you come from out of Indiana, where
Now,
you
why you have to?
I'm going here just for the sake of since you just called my name, I'm in here. The
That's
king
right.
is here.
That's
You
right.
called my name.
Oh my
So
God, he said the king is here. Oh, he's full of himself. Okay, go
anyway, uh,
on.
you come from out of Indiana.
Yes.
And at some point, you may have been called the N word by somebody that was not your color. If not you, somebody you know.
You came from Illinois, and I bet you were called it more than I was, and I'm from Clansville.
If I haven't really no attention. But my point is, though, he's no different from me or you. And I've been robbed before. I've been like, I got off the train one day. I've been living in my neighborhood for ever.
But did they call you the N word?
No,
And did they put a noose around your neck?
what I'm getting at is part of this is I found it so awkward how I got off the train this one particular night, and it was like I almost thought it was staged. Like these people have been watching me, and I don't know who these
They
guys were. But
probably they do.
they beat me up and stole my stuff and ran off. I mean, they specifically went for the stuff that I had.
Was it late at night?
It was like 10:30
Was it something that you did all the time?
all the time. As a matter of
That's
fact,
why
but
they
see, here's the
clocked
thing:
you.
this particular night, I took a different route. I didn't even go the route I always
Oh,
take.
no, that's unusual.
That one, I'm
Okay.
like, so I understand some things can happen
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
cause, and I get that, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't get this much coverage. And I understand on the start of it, yes, this was considered a hate
Yeah, the hate
crime,
crime thing. I think that's why
and
initially.
yeah, but then
And
it
he he
turns.
he is a star, and anything that happens to people in the limelight, it does sell, and that's what they push.
And so, which brings me to my last statement on this.
You're
I feel
right.
like this is staged, and it
Staged by who?
by Jussie.
Well, we can put a waiver on that right in the air. Oh,
I'm just talking my own opinion. I feel like
and
it's
and I'm talking my opinion.
I feel like it's staged. This could very well be some kind of what do you call it? Some kind of propaganda of what or some sort. Maybe something's gonna happen on Empire that we don't know about, and they just really everybody's in on it except for those of us that are not like on the cutting room floor.
And that's why they cut him from the last two episodes. Okay, maybe you're right.
I don't know.
Maybe, I mean, we all have our own little theories.
Yep.
All I want, basically, I mean, we're joking about it, but I would put a wager on it. But all I want is the truth.
At
That's
the end of
all
the
I.
day,
I just want
at
the
the end
end
of
of the
the day,
day.
Well,
I just want the truth and the closes. Oh, we didn't even talk about R. Kelly.
no, and
oh, do you?
superintendent is gonna be on Good Morning America in the morning. If you want to know, he is
Oh, I'll be up early. I'm gonna watch.
7 o'clock. Good Morning America. I don't know what time he'll be
My clock goes
starting,
off at 6:30. I'll be
but
in
I
coming to
will be
watch.
recording because I'll be on my way to work by 7 o'clock.
They have a tape of the guys buying the material. Yeah, I believe the guys bought the material because I believe somebody probably paid them to buy it. Hey, Cynthia. Hey, Todd. Hey, Cynthia. Hey, Romaine.
I
Hey,
just been
Kathy. Hey,
laughing at
Sheila. Hey,
this whole
Dennis.
thing.
Selena. Hey, Caro. Hey, everyone.
All
You have
y'all.
comments? I'm going to try. All of y'all. I'm going to try to read them. Now, oh, R. Kelly. R. Kelly indicted in
Our
10 counts of aggravated child sexual abuse. R. Kelly turned himself in to Chicago police Friday night after being indicted on charges of sexual abuse. Bail was set at $1 million, and the singer remained in prison over the weekend after he was unable to post $100,000. Kelly was charged with sexually abusing 4 victims, including 3 underage girls, and in determining bail, the judge included $250,000 for each alleged victim. Now, what do you think about this? I mean, think about this. He was, he got $1 million bond, $100,000. They say his finances are in such disarray that he can't come up with $100,000.
well,
Now,
neither can I.
yeah, but think
Join the
about it.
club.
R. Kelly has been on the scene consistently, touring, writing songs, and doing whatever for almost
But
30 years.
yeah, but that don't mean. Now, me and you have had financial conversations
Yes, we do all the time.
all the time.
And your point?
My point is, I think we all come to that conclusion where oh, we make this amount of money, and we all like, where does the money go? What happens to the money outside of paying our bills and this, that, and the third? And that may be his case. He may have squandered that money on this and that and the third. He's talking about over 30 years. Who,
Who works consistently 30 years, making millions of dollars every year and don't have $100,000?
apparently he does.
Right. That's
I mean,
unfortunate.
and imagine you, I'm not surprised because he had a whole house here that he lost. In
Yeah,
Olympia
yeah.
Fields or something like that he lost not long ago.
So he's probably been having
Yeah,
problems.
this
Or
didn't
they
just
said that
start.
he had bad contracts and this and that. Now I can buy
Bad
that.
contracts are probably bad decisions,
I
which
can
is probably
buy the
the bulk
bad
of it.
contracts,
Yeah.
but if you got burned one time, when you get a team, so that wouldn't happen again.
Yeah, but see, you may have what is it called? You may have a leak in your team,
And
or
that's a problem.
a broken
Yeah,
link in your
yeah,
chain.
yeah, that's a
That's
problem.
because from my understanding, I don't think he could read.
I know, but when things that you can't do, you hire people to do.
But,
Willie Wilson
but
can't speak, so he should get a spokesman. I'm just saying.
he ain't
Whoa.
gonna do that because
I
Whoa.
mean, he speaks well enough to do what he needs to do, but if
I
he
can't say
really needs to,
anything.
he can get a spokesman.
Man.
Anything that we have shortfalls on, if you got the means, you hire someone to do
Let's
it.
see. All
Like
right, so
Floyd Mayweather.
let
He
me go
hired
here. Here I
somebody
go.
else.
Open up my can of
What
worms.
did Floyd Mayweather do?
He can't read either.
So he hired
he
somebody,
hired somebody
right?
to
That's
write
what you
this. He
do.
But
wrote it.
check this out though. There's 2 parts to this. So you done opened up my
Oh,
wheels
well,
tonight.
good.
Oh, okay. Remember she said good.
Good.
I said good. Well, we go at it all the time anyway.
All the time, you
Nothing
know it.
new. Nothing new.
Nothing. No. So there's a pride factor as a man.
As a man.
As a man, there's a pride factor to that.
With
May not
what?
mean much, but it's a pride factor. I know I can't read, but I can read some, so I'm gonna try to do some of this on my own. You know, or no, I'll attach that to the Willie Wilson thing. That's a
Okay.
pride thing. I can speak enough. It
He
may
can
not be
speak.
perfect,
He can speak enough.
but you know, I'm not gonna hire anybody to speak for me. I'm a man. I'm gonna do it myself. That's a pride thing with the Willie Wilson thing, to my opinion. But to the R. Kelly thing, think about this. 30 years ago, okay, he can't read, and he's trying to get contracts. You might have hired one of your buddies who probably doing you in now, and you
Oh,
probably trust them,
yeah, yeah.
and they've been doing you in for 30 years, and you wonder why these contracts, whether and whoever the person is, if there is a person, which I'm almost certain there is, because there's no way you can continue to have bad contracts unless somebody is doing something
Yeah, but
that they're
who
not doing.
reads? Yeah, but think about this. Okay, think about this. If you got a lucrative contract, you wouldn't read it. You would say, "Jay, what do you think?" I said, "Boy, you better get your entertainment lawyer. You get a specialist. Nobody reads a contract
But you
anyway."
can who can you trust? Because who are you sending to get your specialist?
Mm,
Because the person
okay.
you're sending is crooked, he may get somebody else that's crooked like him that's trying to get money. So the contract itself might have been legit and right when it got to the first person,
Okay.
but they may have done some stuff before it got to R. Kelly for him to sign.
I'll buy that. But he can, but 100,000. It just seems like he's written and collaborated with everybody.
Everybody ain't right. Everybody ain't fair.
You're right, but I thought maybe someone would maybe even front him the money.
This is not Aretha Franklin.
Oh
Oh
my
my
That's the stuff you have
gosh.
to do. That's the stuff Aretha Franklin does.
She would do. Yes, she would. Yes.
And she wants
She's old
cash.
school though. She's yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Well,
let's
well,
look at that.
she carried her purse around with her even on stage.
Yeah. But
Oh
let's look at
my
the end result of
goodness.
that. She owes how much in back taxes now?
That's.
Which is not a comment. What I'm
I
getting
mean,
at,
come on now. Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, well, what I'm getting at is, I think there were some bad decisions made,
Yeah. It's so
ignorantly
unfortunate
made,
though.
not
It's
in a bad way, but
unfortunate.
just you just didn't know
It's
from R.
unfortunate.
Kelly's standpoint. And there's somebody in that team that's doing him in. That's been doing him in for
Do
years.
you think he's going to get some serious time this time around?
Definitely, look how big this thing has gotten. You have undeniable footage. You have undeniable
I heard there's a
testimony.
third tape out.
See, so like
I know.
stuff has
A
been
third one.
unraveled
No.
now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
he's gonna get time. Unfortunately, he'll be big time because these people are gonna. It's gonna be like this snowball effect. How I hate to even bring it up. How the thing with Bill Cosby came out. How it got bigger and big. This is gonna be the same thing, if not worse. And it's unfortunate.
What can you do?
And Kelly's team, for his defense, Kelly's team says that he is not guilty of it, even though I think it was kind of stupid because after that Lifetime thing showed, and those are those parents that were still looking for their daughter. Wouldn't you have a good gesture? Would say, you know what, go back home to your mama. Go back home to your mama. Go back.
But
You
they're
know,
not. But they're not being held. You could go.
But when you've been
Brainwash.
yeah,
when you've been
brainwash. Yeah,
brainwashed,
yeah.
and when there's something that you feel like you don't have,
I
and
would
you're
have
getting
sent them
it.
home because you need to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they all on my
but
heels
but
now.
again, on the other side,
You need to
though, when
go.
you're getting what you want and you're getting a need met, you're not gonna send them home. And when they're getting a need
Is
met,
that a
they're not
man
gonna
thing
go.
too? Is
They're
that a
gonna
man thing
go.
too? The need thing?
That's a human thing.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's not just a man. That's a human thing. I
Okay.
mean, come on. There's an old saying, not even an old saying, but it's a meme that I saw recently that says, "How many scars have we justified because we love the person that's holding the knife?"
You're right. Oh, that's a good one. Write that down for me. That's a real good one.
So they may be cutting you all up and down your back, but
That's a
because you
good
love them
one.
and they're meeting a need, which may be I need somebody to love me. You say,
That's
well,
a good one.
they don't mean that it's okay, and then you know what I'm saying. So it's a two-way street.
But anyway, his attorney says that all these women that are bringing up charges now, some of them are 20 years plus. He said
Hmm.
all of them have CDs coming out, books, and everything else. They're trying to gain on his heels.
Of
And I'm going to leave it
course,
right there. Now
of
we
course,
all know. I mean, most of us know that R. Kelly has had an issue,
yes.
and I just hope he gets help for it. And this is evolving too. And to your point, maybe it will blow up like the Bill Cosby thing. Maybe it will.
Yeah, I'm certain it will. I don't think there's even a maybe about it because it's so much, and there's still stuff that we haven't even been told or we haven't seen
I know.
yet. and it's really unfortunate for
He
both
could get a
parties.
lot of time. A lot of
Well,
time. A
And
lot of
that's a
time.
shame.
he had a good run.
Oh my
A good long run.
Hello.
gosh.
I mean, what can I say? It's nothing to work. Say I'm still gonna play the music.
I mean,
Don't
of course,
quote me,
everybody. I
but
mean, it's gonna be what it's
Bummy
gonna
Grind,
be.
one of my favorites. But anyway.
At the end of the day, it's just unfortunate to watch somebody
yeah.
so
I
great
know
go
just
down like that.
Well,
But that
his
seems
fault.
to be the thing of people that are like immensely talented. There's also some very big shadow or secret that they have in the very back of their life that they don't let come out and that they choose not to control. And so my advice, here I go, my spiel for the night. Whatever you got going on,
I agree. Now I'm with you on that one.
you know, if people are telling you now at this stage of life, oh, you're so talented, you're so gifted, and you begin to see it, and you know your life is going to go somewhere, start now on the bottom end to control those little things you know that are going to be issues. Even if you think it's going to be an issue, try now to get it under
Because
control.
what'll start out small will be huge by the
And
time you
it's gonna
blow.
stop you. I've seen it. R. Kelly's just one person. I've seen it on smaller levels, and it's really sad to watch.
This has been a really rough week for black artists, black
Yeah.
male artists during Black History Month.
Yes.
But on another note about Black History Month, parents in Rock Hill, South Carolina say they're outraged after seeing a video of their fifth grade students. They went on a field trip picking cotton while singing as part of a school district field trip that aired on the local news channel. In the video, which first aired on local Fox affiliate, students can be seen picking cotton while singing, I like it when you pick like that. I like it when you fill your sack. I like it when you don't talk back. Make money for me. Nearby, one adult beat out a drum like rhythm and another yelled, I can't hear y'all as the children picked cotton.
Okay. Can I please? I can't even hold this. I cannot hold this. Oh,
What?
so my first question, and this is kind of a dumb question to me: are the parents upset because it was on TV, or are they really upset because of what they saw? That they
They're
were
upset because their children for Black History Month went on a field trip. So
Mhm,
they signed the thing for the kids to go on a field trip,
mhm.
but the teachers had them picking cotton and acting like little slaves.
Now here we go. That's disturbing. No matter how you spin that, that's just disturbing. And
That's what happened.
when I was a kid, I can remember though we or some classes in my elementary school at some point reenacted stuff like that for educational purpose. We saw videos where we reenacted it because we were doing some sort of play or something. I remember seeing it.
And that's probably what they told them when the parents complained. Or they probably said, "No harm. We're reenacting how they're."
No, we
And
ain't reenacting nothing.
well, okay,
Not
so
with
now when
mine.
I
I
say that,
agree with
I
you.
mean, and I get it. I'm not saying that they're right for it.
Yeah.
For us, and this is a different generation. For us, I'll never forget that though because my mother was in the generation that picked cotton. So she would talk about it. My grandmother, my great grandmother, they would talk about it to
Hmm.
us.
Hmm.
And for us to have some sort of mental experience about it, you know, kind of brought it home for us as kids. As we got older, we're like, oh wow, we know people that actually did this, even though we're doing it in the play. It was different.
But a play isn't like going to a cotton field in South Carolina, actually picking it
Right.
and then having a
And
teacher saying, "I can't hear y'all."
and that's what I'm getting at. That was too far. That was entirely too far. It's one thing for us to do it
No.
in school, like we were on stage doing it as a play,
Well, a play, yeah,
but you took these kids to a whole
to
cotton
a
field.
cotton field and had them picking.
Now, was the teacher white? That's my next question. Because if that teacher was white, it's a done deal.
On
I
another
can't. Man,
on
please.
another note, since Miss Shimmy has such beautiful braids, I had to read this story. I thought about her when I
Oh,
read
I
it.
thought you were talking about my hair.
Uh,
Okay, okay.
A Wisconsin teacher has been placed on administrative leave after allegedly tackling an 11-year-old student and ripping out 3 of her braids. The incident was caught on school camera and is currently under both police and district investigation. Makia Price filed a police report with the Madison Police Department in Wisconsin after hearing from her daughter, a student at White Horse Middle School about the incident that transpired on February 13th, according to the TV. She was crying and her lip was cracked, bleeding, and she handed me 3 of her braids that were pulled out from her scalp. Apparently, the little girls were spraying perfume on themselves. The teacher had bad allergies. The teacher got a little bit upset, and she doesn't know how the 3 braids got pulled out.
Yeah, right.
You
Okay.
know, first
And I'm
thing-
gonna
all
know
right, here I go,
when
here
I
I
come
go.
up here as a parent.
Oh my
That,
God.
that stuff gets me takes on my skin. Number one, as a teacher,
Oh, go. Here we go.
as a teacher, you're supposed to say, uh, I'll do it on a college level. I had a voice teacher who said in her syllabus, please do not wear cologne or perfume or
Yeah.
fragrances in the studio because I have that allergies and I can't take it in the room probably like this size.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little smaller. There's a lot of stoppers in the room. Okay, so you're supposed to let that be known to your students as a teacher that, oh, I have bad allergies. You cannot spray perfume in this room. First of all, let's go here. You shouldn't be spraying perfume anyway. You're supposed to be learning something. Let's go there.
That's true. Very true. But
Now,
you know how little
you
girls
wrong
are
if
playing.
if you can't control your temper as a teacher, you jumping on these kids,
You shouldn't be a
pulling out
teacher.
their braids.
And they mama gonna come pull your braids.
I'm
'Cause
telling you.
pulling some braids.
You don't know how braid got put out. Yes, you do. You jumped on the
You-
child and you
You
got
know what?
mad.
You
This-
blacked out or
This
something.
actually went further to say that the administrator forcefully pushed the girl out of the classroom and into a row of lockers, then lost his balance and fell on top of her. He stayed on top of her for 10 or 15 seconds. I don't know how the girl's braids were pulled out, but she has 2 bald spots in her head.
So this was a dude.
This was a man.
Oh, now, come on. Now,
Because when you say he, I said, okay.
oh,
So
you
we
really. So we know he no longer has a job. That's a done deal. You're not. You know. You know you pulled out the chaff braid,
How could you not know how they got out? I mean, well, I don't know.
and then you pushed her into
So-
a row of lockers.
we don't know how you lost your job. How about that?
Right.
Come on. Tell
Well,
him that. Tell him I don't know how I lost my
How
job.
about that?
yeah,
I don't know what happened.
that's kind of a bit much. I mean, I can't. I mean,
what?
I know how sometimes teachers are put in a situation, but I don't know how the braids would have got pulled out.
Walked up on her jank.
Real
Ooh.
quick.
Because in order for you to
She
do
got the
that,
good
you have to be.
Yeah, because
visible.
how could I pull out her
I gotta get
braid?
close to her to even touch her hair. I can't be that far away trying to touch her. You walked up on this child.
Exactly. Because of some perfume. Oh, you need to go sit down. Sorry. That's
Well,
like that student that beat up the cops at Marshall. Oh my goodness. That was
Really?
the student beat up the
Yeah.
cops.
yeah, Marshall.
Like the real cops or the
Yeah, the
security?
real cops. They
Okay,
called
go
real
on.
cops on her, and then she was fighting back because they was
trying
tasing
to-
her, but
What were
she
they
was
tasing her
going
for?
back. She
Jeez.
was giving
Well,
them
you know them
The
West Side kids
tasing
don't
wasn't
play.
affecting her.
no. They was
That's that
she
West
was
Side
giving them the
stuff.
flux. So they had charged her, but they let it go because she had an IEP and they didn't follow the instructions. In her IEP, there are instructions for you to say with discipline with her. You got to do this first. They didn't do that, so you can't.
Yeah. Well, that was playing a whole lot.
They,
You got
she gave them the business.
She did. She
Young
handled
girl
it.
is-
Yeah.
she
They're-
was
they're-
playing.
you cannot upset these children
On the floor,
especially
she
those that have
kicking.
IEPs.
yeah, the ones with the
You
IEPs
cannot.
have some
Yep.
kind of
I
issue
was
going
And
like,
I
on.
you-
love
Yeah.
that there's some of the sweetest kids.
I had some sweet kids on Friday. Oh my God, they were so sweet. I would
Oh.
start teaching if I had a class like that.
No,
I'm not kidding. They were
They all
that
that
I'm
sweet.
reevaluating my
No.
life.
They were and normally, I tell you some horror stories.
I know.
I have to
got a
pray.
couple for you this week.
But these kids were so sweet. It's almost time, isn't it?
it's time.
It's time. Well, it has been a pleasure. Thank you guys for coming. Black History. This is the last Sunday of Black History
Throw away
Month.
the whole Black
So
History Month.
Black History Month is over. We're going to start in March, and we're going to normally we do it in February, but we're going to be talking about relationships and also having more interviews for the month of March. We look forward to seeing you here every Sunday. Tell a friend. We want to expand and grow. Sunday at 6 p.m. Voices of Change Intellectual Radio from Elliot, Shimmy, and Jan. Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
I know that.